Okay, for this portfolio assignment, I will be going over the functional musculoskeletal screen. So I will start off by asking the patient whether they can, stand up or sit down to perform the activities. So they can stand up. So they will stand up out of their chair, and I'll ask them, okay, so I'm gonna test your neck here. Can you look up to the sky? Can you look down at your shoes? Can you look over your right shoulder? Can you look over your left shoulder? And then lastly, I'll ask them if they can try to touch their ears to their shoulder. So next, I will test the upper body. So I'll ask them, can you reach up as high as you can, as if you're reaching for a cabinet or anything up above your head? Then I'll ask them, okay, can you retract your shoulders as far as you can and try to get your shoulder blades to touch? Next, I'll ask them if they can hug or get their arms around their shoulders. Next thing I'll ask, can you bend down and pick up a suitcase? So that can also get side trunk action and the shoulder depression there, or retraction, or depression. And then I will also ask them if they can shrug their shoulders as high as they can. I will ask them if they can reach out to the side as far as they can. And then I will ask them, can you straighten out your elbow as if you're reaching out to try to touch me with both arms? And then I will test with their forearms if they can hold a bowl or hold a plate, and then they can flip that plate over and push up off the ground with their pronation. And then I will test their wrists, and I'll ask them if they can curl their wrist towards them, if they can extend it away from their body. Then I'll ask them if they can show me how they would turn a doorknob. And then I will test their fingers. I can ask them if they can open their fingers all the way, abducting, if they can close them back together. Then I'll ask them if they can do opposition. I'll ask them if they can touch each finger to their thumb on both of their hands. So that should test everything for their upper body. Then next would be the trunk. I'll ask them if they can bend over and touch their toes. I'll ask them how far they can bend the opposite way back. And then I'll see if they can pick up the luggage again with their side bend. So lastly, I'll test the lower body. So I feel like you could do this in a few ways. You can ask them if they can, simply just walk and see how their gait is while they walk. Then you can ask them, okay, try to march in place and see how well they can flex their hip and their knees. And then it also will test their dorsiflexion and plantar flexion when you do that. And then you can also ask them how if they can abduct their hip or if they can lift their leg up to the side on each side. And then lastly, for the hip, you can ask them to extend it backwards. But also, with walking, it kind of lets you see the extension, flexion of the hip, and then marching lets you see more of the dorsiflexion and flexion of the knee. And then to test the ankles and the toes, you can ask them to flex their toes and their ankles. Let me back up here a little bit. So you can flex your ankle up as dorsiflexion, down, plantar flexion, like you're pressing on gas, and then inversion of the ankle and eversion of the ankle, and then ask them if they can roll it all the way around. And I believe that is all for the musculoskeletal screen.